Hello guys, if you're watching this is probably the first video that you're going to start doing. And it's going to be the first week that we're going to be doing the videos. So I was thinking that maybe I should do a long video and you could just watch the entire thing. But then I realized that most of you are going to get tired of just like watching really long video. So every section I'm going to separate into part 1 and part 2. So substitution is going to be what we're going to be going over today. But let's talk about how I want you guys to do your notes. The way that I want you guys to do your notes, I want you to do a vertical line. If you're using a regular piece of paper, then you don't have to because you already got the line in the very top right. Now, just do a line in the middle like I did. Hopefully, you can do a better line than I did. At this point, don't forget to put your name over here. Put your date and your period. That's very important. Don't never forget because if you don't put your information there, I cannot give you a grade. Now, over here, on this line, let me see if I can shade it for you guys. On this line right here, the one that I'm highlighting, on top of the line, I want you to put like the title of what we're going to be going today. Today we're going to be doing substitution. So make sure you start writing this down. Substitution. In this video, we actually going to cover linear equations. So we're going to be working with only linear equations today, or in this video. The next video is going to cover a linear equation and a quadratic, so it's going to be a variation, but this one's just substitution. Is going to be linear equations. Hopefully you can put it better than I did, like center it if you can. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds just so you guys can write it. Also pause the video and just make sure you have everything that you need to. After that, you're going to do student on the side, on the bottom, student, and on the other one you're going to do teacher. What that's going to mean is that you're going to be trying to do the problem by yourself. Over here, let's say we have question number 1. So we're only going to have 2 questions on here. So question number 1, you're going to try and answer yourself. And let's say you get stuck or you don't know how to do it, just put stuck or I don't know. So don't worry about getting the wrong answer whenever you're doing it yourself, okay? This is not me trying like be, hey, you need to get it right every single time. No, this is just extra practice I want you guys to be able to get. So yes, you're gonna try and solve it over here on this side. On the left side, you're gonna try and solve it. Now let's say you get stuck or you don't know how to do it, then you're gonna watch the video and you're just gonna copy the notes. Yeah, you're just gonna copy everything I write. Everything. And then you're done with question 1. Then you're going to go to question 2. And let's say this time you're doing a little better, right? You answer the whole thing. Then after you're done with that, you're actually going to watch the video and then you're just going to copy it down. Once you do that, that's all you have to do. All right? So basically just copying notes, trying to solve the problem yourself. If you don't know how to solve it, you already know. Let's say you get stuck again at the very end and you just put stuck. And then you just copy the way that I do it. The reason why I'm doing this, I just want to make sure that you guys are trying to do the problems, okay? This is not going to count against you for doing the problems. It's going to count against you if you don't do anything. If you don't turn in the notes, then obviously it's going to be a 0 because it is a homework assignment. But as long as you do the notes, as long as you do try to do the problem by yourself, and then copy just the notes from the video, then you should be fine. Okay, that's all you have to worry about for the notes. So I'm going to give you a couple, well, like I said, this is a video, so stop it right here. Make sure you have everything organized, the student and the teacher. Obviously, there's no notes yet, so you don't have to do, and you don't even have a problem yet, so you don't have to worry about that just yet. Just make sure you set up the student and the teacher, the columns, and then you should be good. All right, stop the video right there just so you can have all that already on there. So question 1. We're going to have 2 different questions. Question 1 is going to be, I'm going to give you a system of equations. I'm going to put it right here. Your first equation is going to be negative 4y minus, negative 4y equals 12x plus 10. That's your first equation. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just so you guys can see. There we go. Now the other equation that you're going to get is this one. Y is equal to 3x actually, before you start writing stuff down, I did do a mistake because this is a different problem. Instead of doing plus 10, you're actually going to do plus 8. I want you to do a plus 8 on there, and on the bottom is going to be minus, or actually plus 4. Okay, that's going to be the first problem that we're going to be working. So I'm going to repeat it again for you guys. It's going to be negative 4y equals 12x plus 8. And the other equation is going to be y equals 3x plus 4. Now, stop the video, try and do it yourself, and come back like whenever you're done. So, at this point, you should have already worked the problem. So I'm going to show you what I would do. You're going to notice that one of the equations is already in y equals, so I don't have to do anything with that one. Now, the other equation, you're going to notice this one right here on the very top. It is almost in y equals. The only thing that is not making it y equals is a negative 4 in front of the y. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm actually going to go ahead and change that. So I'm going to do it over here in the very top so I can have some space. So negative 4y equals 12x plus 8. Now, the only thing I need to do is I need to get rid of that negative 4. So I'm going to go ahead and divide by 4 to everything. So I'm going to divide by 4 to the 12 and also divide by 4 to the 8. Now, over here, right next to the y, everything cancels, and I'm just going to bring down the y. So now I have y equals negative 3x, because 12 divided by 4 is 3. And because we have a negative 4 and a positive, it becomes a negative. Same thing over here. We're going to have a negative 2 for the same reason. We have a positive on top and negative on the bottom, so it becomes negative. Now we have my equation right there. So I'm going to rewrite my system of equations. I have y is equal to negative 3x minus 2, and y is equal to 3x plus 4. Now, that was the hardest part, I would say, for this problem. At this point, I have both of my equations equal to y. If you remember, we can do something with those two equations because both of them are equal to y. I'm actually going to go ahead and equal both of them to each other. So negative 3x minus 2 is equal to 3x plus 4. At this point, I just have to solve for x. So I'm going to move this negative 3x to the other side. So I'm going to do plus 3x plus 3x. The 3x is canceled over here. I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 2. So negative 2. What is 3x plus 3x? That's going to be 6x plus 4. Now I have negative 2 equals 6x plus 4. Now I'm going to continue going down. I'm going to have to move the 4 to the other side. I'm going to do minus 4. Minus 4, minus 4. 4 cancels over here. And we get negative 6 is equal to 6x. Final step I need to do, I'm going to go ahead and divide by 6 on both sides. And you're going to notice that we have a negative 6 on the top and a positive 6 on the bottom. So that's going to become what? 1. Negative 1. And over here, it's just going to be x. So our answer for x is equal to negative 1. That's my first answer. Now, I need to figure out my second answer, right? So I'm going to do it right here. Right here, I'm going to start writing. Now, I already know what my x is. I'm going to shade it so you guys can see. This x is equal to negative 1. What can I do with that? Actually, I can grab that and I can put it where? I'm going to grab this bad boy, the negative 1. And I'm going to go and plug it into one of my two equations for x. Doesn't matter which one I pick. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to pick the second one because it doesn't have a negative. I'm going to go ahead and write it out. So let's go ahead and write it. It's going to be y is equal to 3x plus 4. All I'm going to do, instead of writing x, I'm going to put a -1 on there. Now I have 3 times -1, which is -3, plus 4. Now what's -3 plus 4 is going to be +1. So my answer for y is going to be y is equal to +1. Now, if you're confused at any of this, go back, stop the video, start it again. But that was pretty straightforward, right? That's the first one. Now, I want this video to be shorter than 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and go right to the next one. So that's the first one. Now, as soon as I write the second one, try and solve it yourself. And pause the video. Then I'll show you how to solve it. So for the second problem, this is going to be our system of equations. The first one is going to be 2y equals -2x plus 4. Now the second one's going to be 4x plus 2y is equal to 8. Okay, that's going to be my second problem. Stop the video, try and solve it yourself. Now that you're back, I'm actually going to go ahead and solve it. First thing, I'm going to try and make my top equation again equal to y. So I'm going to write it, 2y is equal to -2x plus 4. I'm going to go ahead, everything I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to get y is equal to -1x plus 2. Okay, that's my first equation. Now, the second equation, you're going to notice that there's a lot of stuff going on, right? I would have to change it. And there's a different way that you could do it. Either you can plug in this whole thing, and I'm going to show you what I mean. So let me highlight it first. All of this, the -1x, I could go ahead, plug it into for y. But instead, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it the same way that we did the previous problem. So I'm going to go ahead and check this equation into y equals. Because I'm already used to getting both my equations together. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. The reason is because I'm more comfortable doing that. I'm going to go ahead and change it. So I'm going to start with 4x. I'm going to do it on the side though. 4x plus 2y is equal to 8. Now, I need to move everything to one side and leave the y alone. So I'm going to start with the 4x. So I'm going to move it to the other side, which is going to give me what? -4x. Now my 4 and 4x are going to cancel out. Over here, the 8, I'm going to bring it down. Now, because I'm going to bring it down, I'm going to look at the sign of the 8. I know it's a positive 8. So I'm going to put a plus and then the 8. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. So 2y. We're almost done. Now, I want to get rid of that 2. So I'm going to divide by 2 to everything. We get y is equal to -2x plus 4. You see, this problem already got way easier. I'm going to write my two new equations, which the first one's y is equal to -1x plus 2, and y equals -2x plus what? Plus 4. Again, now that both of them are equal to each other, now it's a lot easier to put them together. So I'm going to go ahead and put them together. So I'm going to put the first one, -1x plus 2 equals negative 2x plus 4. Now, you can do this. At this point, I'm just combining like terms. I want to move this negative 2x. So I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to plus 2x plus 2x. Those two cancel out. And what is negative 1 plus 2? Your answer is going to be 1x. Right? And then I'm going to bring everything down. So it's going to be negative 1x plus 2 is equal to 4. Now I'm going to have to go ahead and move the 2. So negative 2, and we end up with x is equal to positive 2. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put that over here on the side. X is equal to 2. Put in square, and I'm going to highlight it just so you guys can see the first answer. Now again, just like we did before, I'm going to plug in that 2. I'm going to go ahead and plug this 2 into either this equation right here or the top equation. I'm actually going to go ahead and use the top equation because it looks easier to me. So I'm going to use the top equation. So I'm going to be using this equation right here. Let's go ahead and write it. So it's going to be y equals negative 1x plus 2. Now I'm plugging in the 2 where x goes. So I'm going to do y is equal to negative 1 parentheses 2 plus 2. Now negative 1 times 2 is negative 2 plus 2. Now if you know negative 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. So I already know that my answer for my second one is y is equal to 0. And I'm going to highlight it. And that is the first video. I know it took me a little longer. Hopefully the next one takes a little less. But that's how we're going to be doing this one. Alright.